Going on to you, Taurus. So you have the Four of Cups, the Ace of Cups, the Nine of Swords, the Two of Wands, the Lovers, the Ten of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, the Magician, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Three of Wands. So the Four of Cups, it speaks to how some of you Taurus have tried to get to know people in the past, only for it to not work out, and you end up having to really ask yourselves, which one is more important, you or them, right? Because they started to become very dysfunctional, and you decided, right? The Nine of Swords, you Taurus have decided that you were more important. So what you did was you decided to stay away from those people in the first place. Because you were way more important. You mattered more to yourself than being in this relationship. We've seen many a times people will compromise themselves to be in relationships because to them, they think being single is worse than being in a dysfunctional relationship. That's not true. So a lot of you Taurus are just kind of asking yourselves, well, how do you know that you're past that? How do you know that you really moved through the point in your life where you were down, where you thought that, you know, a relationship, a dysfunctional relationship would be even more better, or would be better than being single, you know, without the drama. And to be honest with you, the mere fact that you're worried about going back is proof that you Taurus have changed for the better. The Two of Wands, because again, they want to get you mad. They want to get you upset. They were reaction seeking. Pay attention to how the mermaid is looking at the volcano erupt. The volcano is you. They represent the mermaid. And pay attention to how they standing all the way back while you Taurus were to erupt. Right? These people only wanted to play a victim and act like they were perfect when you started to blow up, when you started to get upset, when you started to erupt, right, like a volcano. Because for them, meaning people in the past that you don't want to ever come back, you don't ever want to relive that type of relationship or that type of interactions with them, this is what those people were on. This is how those people thought. Those people were so caught up with the idea of you, Taurus, being in a functional relationship because of how dysfunctional they were. They didn't want you to have any kind of peace. They wanted you to constantly be on some dysfunctional stuff where they just would just do everything to get you peeved, to get you so upset, angry, and then stand back and be like, see, I told you the Taurus is crazy. Look at how the Taurus is acting like this. But specifically around other people, so that they can act like you the one who's tripping out. The Lovers represents, nah, you Taurus realized that that's what it is that they were doing. Even if you didn't realize in particular that's what they were doing, you know that there was something wrong. So you had to what? You had to separate the relationship. You had to stop the relationship and be by yourselves. And you realize now that that type of person, those types of people that tried to get you in a relationship like that, nah, that's a dub. That's no good. That is no bueno. No, because that's a dysfunctional relationship. What type of relationship is that? The Ten of Wands. And you're not going back to that. You've learned that lesson. You've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and you've learned from your mistakes. You don't have to put up with that. So you Taurus are not putting up with that. This type of dysfunction that they were on, your ex was on, you have learned a huge lesson in allowing people to be disrespectful. This could have even have been recently, that where you broke up with this person recently. You know, the Ace of Pentacles represents, yes, you really want to take the time to get to know the person. You know, a lot of people don't take time anymore. You know, there's people who in the comment sections and stuff like this, and I ask around, sometimes people I'm doing private readings to, not going to say their name, but they say that in the first 2 months, in the first month, in the first 3 months of knowing the person, they moved in with them. And it's like, come on, look, a year is 12 months. People usually get married. I said this before. People usually get married within 2 years. Most people, because the traditional idea, quote unquote, these terrible traditions that has already been debunked and proven not to be healthy. Most people, when they decide that they're going to be in a relationship, they usually like to move in with each other before they get married, right? So if a marriage, the most majority of the time that people take, the most popular answer is usually within 2 to 3 years, two to three. But an engagement is 1 year. So if most people get married within 2 years, come on, that means that you must have been moving in with the person for less than, or since you begun to know them cold, flat, from the first 1 to about not 11 months at this point. Most people tell me they move in 2 months. Yo, 2 months is nothing. They really get to know the person, and then they wonder why it is that the relationship doesn't work out. No disrespect to those people. They just didn't know. No disrespect to those people. But that's what I'm trying to say. 2 months is nothing. 2 months is nothing in the span of sharing a living space with the person, living with the person, going to sleep, trusting someone to go to sleep around them. Do you know the type of stuff that people could do to you when you're asleep and you're completely off guard? Now you sitting up there, you in the house with a complete lunatic, you sitting up there sleeping next to this lunatic that's on the verge of snapping. You don't even know, because they're with a nice face and they're keeping it away and they're holding on to it, and they take your time. And a lot of you Taurus are really starting to understand that. Y'all don't want to hear that, but okay, I'm telling y'all, a lot of y'all, take your time. A year is 12 months. What are you doing getting married to the person so quickly for? You barely freaking know the person. In a year's time, you think you know the person. No, in a year's time, you just begun to know the person. The Magician now is about, again, remember, and part of the reason why it is that people move in and they get married so fast is because they don't think they have time. No, bump that. Bump that. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Do not get married. This is my suggestion. Do not get married until you've known the person for at least 3 years. The reason why it is, right? At least 3 years. The engagement in the 4th year, the engagement, which is usually 1 year, and then on the 5th year, get married, or more than 5 years. You know why I say so long, 5 years or more? You know why I say 5 years or more? Because that I'm incorporating, or I'm considering the haze that a lot of people get caught up in, the fog, the idea that, how people pedestalize people. Then they get a chance to actually go through experiences with people, to actually experience what it's like to be with these individuals for long periods of time. Then they start to actually come down and see if that person is really as great as they thought they were, even better, or even worse than what it is that they originally thought. 2 years, a year is not going to be good. 2 years is not going to be good. That's not enough time. You know why? Because people are too caught up still in the haze, that mental fog of having your emotional state cloud your freaking judgment. You running into a relationship with a person, right? Immediately in what? 1 to about 11 months. An engagement is an entire year. An engagement is 12 months, aka a year. Come on. You already getting engaged to somebody that you've only known for less than 12 months? But then people will be like, well, I thought you said that you get to know the person within the first 24 hours. Right, yes, that's very true. But you're trying to see if they're going to live up to how great they talk themselves up to be over that period of time. You have to wait and see after that. You understand? That's like somebody telling you that they're gonna do a promise to you, or they're making a promise to you. Now you have to stand back and wait to see if they're actually gonna follow through with that promise, or if they're full of it. You have to go through the entire process of it. The Nine of Pentacles, the Three of Wands. Nine of Pentacles and the Three of Wands is about, and this is where the empowerment is, because you, Taurus, you realize that with those people who are dysfunctional, it's a dub. You ain't got to put up with this. You're going to move forward. Talk to other people. People got to get over, people have to, the Three of Wands represents you will meet someone new soon, by the way. But people have to understand, like, you got to go through the learning curve, what I call the learning curve, which is really understand the person, really accept who the person really is, right? And most people are not advanced in relationships. Most people are acting like they're advanced, but not really, because you have to know who the person is. You have to study and understand their nature. You have to go through some things where the two of you have to go through together. Can the two of you actually not break up, but can the two of you actually not like each other for like a day, 2 days, and then decide to put those differences behind you? If the two of you can't even last a year, if the two of you can't even last 4 or 5 years, the engagement, it's not to say that an engagement is you taking a year off from the person. The engagement is when the pressure is really on, because it's like, hey, you keep being this, you're on the verge of being married officially. You there. You're close to the finish line. Keep it up. That's what the engagement represents. But if a person, let's clarify some of these cards. Let's clarify the Lovers. But if a person can't, stick to the script for that short period of time, because again, a year is 12 months, then it means that they're not the one. The Page of Wands, Page of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, and the Hangman. Right. This is a situation for a lot of you, Taurus, where if those people can't respect you the way that you deserve to be respected, just the basic decency, and then they build that type of respect on top of the basic decency, you should not be hanging out with those people. And this is something that you, Taurus, are starting to really understand. Don't take people for granted. When they make a habit of disrespecting you, do not keep those people in your life. The Seven of Pentacles and the Hanged Man, because the next step is for them to blame you for all of their dysfunctions and all of their failures in life. You don't want to hang around those people. You, Taurus, want to be with people that see you as a blessing and not as a curse, yo.